Welcome back to the Green Beans Go channel. It's your host, me. And some of you are noticing that this video is a little late, but as they say in show business, better late than not at all. It's week 8. Let's talk about it. And talk about it very loosely we shall, because today's been kind of not a normal day, and I did not do my typical work on this video as I normally would, and we'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about last week first. Mike Evans scored. That's it. Chris Godwin scored. It was called back on a penalty. Lamar Jackson scored. It was called back on a penalty. It could have been a good week. It could have been a positive week, but instead we're sitting here with another losing week. 24 wins, 66 losses. We are now down 5.2 units overall. Our Tier 1 plays are getting worse. Our Tier 2 plays are getting worse. Our Tier 3 plays are getting worse. Everything's getting worse. Okay? And so we're going to take a week off. I said it. All right? What can you expect? Usually this stuff. Not this week. I'm taking a week. Taking a breath. I'm not going to suggest any plays. I am going to go through every game for you. We can talk about it. I want you guys to have the information, have the data, so that you can make the decisions you want to make. And I'm going to personally step away for just a week. Okay, I may make suggestions in the coming weeks, but this week, Green Means Go is going to green means stop. Red means stop. We're stopping. Minnesota and the Rams play tonight. Crazy. The Rams have not. This is what you want to see. Okay, right here. Pick somebody on Minnesota to score the first touchdown. 5 scored, 5 allowed. 1 scored, 0 allowed. Here, otherwise, not a ton of weaknesses. The Rams do get Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua back. If that is interesting to you, you can take one of them. But Kyron Williams seems to find his way into the end zone every week, and the odds are a reflection of that. Cleveland and Baltimore. Baltimore continues to be very dominant in terms of offensive production, and Cleveland is, the worst at allowing receivers to score, and Baltimore is the worst at scoring with the receiver. So maybe you look at the tight ends. 7 tight end touchdowns for Baltimore leads the NFL. As for Cleveland, I wouldn't take anybody to score if I can help it. First touchdown seems pretty safe. Last week, Mike Evans scored for Tampa Bay, which was the first touchdown allowed by Baltimore's defense all season. I don't see any way Cleveland scores the first touchdown. But now that I said it, it may happen. Tennessee and Detroit, again, a very lopsided affair. Detroit is the team that's scoring a lot. 12 by the running back, 7 allowed for Tennessee, if you want to go that route. Again, this is kind of interesting. Tennessee's offense have scored the first touchdown 5 times, and they've only scored 11 total touchdowns this year offensively. So, they get that first one and they say, we're good, we're done for the rest of the game. Detroit, kind of interestingly enough, is a heavy second quarter scoring team, 10 in the second quarter, but Tennessee defends the best in the second quarter. Kind of bizarre also. So do with that what you will. I don't have any sort of lean. Jameson Williams is out. I don't know if David Montgomery is out. I know he got hurt last game, so you may want to check on those things. Arizona, Miami. Keep in mind, Miami is favored in this game by 3 points, and they've scored 6 offensive touchdowns all year. Tua is back. I don't give it that much of a difference, but Vegas does, and they're smarter than me, so maybe you want to do something with it. I think this could be an ugly game. So I would probably stay away, although James Conner gets a lot of work, and the Miami rush defense is pretty bad. So maybe you like James Conner. And Arizona gets worse as the game goes on. Look at that. 6 first quarter touchdowns, 4, 2, and 2. As for the first touchdown, maybe you go James Conner, but it has been a red receiver every time. New England and the Jets. Seriously, guys, you want to pick a touchdown score from this game? Devontae Adams probably, maybe Breece Hall, maybe Braylon Allen, but other than that, not interested. Tampa Bay and Atlanta, this information is going to be skewed because you can see Tampa Bay has 14 wide receiver touchdowns. Godwin and Evans are both out with injuries for the foreseeable future. So good luck with that. We talked about quarterback scoring last week with Lamar Jackson. I don't think Kirk Cousins is probably a threat to score, although he has scored once. So he's not scoring. Kirk Cousins is not scoring. So maybe look at some backup wide receivers for Tampa Bay. Otherwise, Atlanta's not good at scoring the first TD. They've allowed 5 first TDs, so you could probably get some good prices on Tampa Bay wide receivers to score the first touchdown. So maybe look there. Jacksonville and Green Bay. Jacksonville, one of the worst defenses. And again, we see a very large discrepancy in first touchdown scored. 5 offensive, 5 allowed defensively for Jacksonville. As for a position, maybe go passing, as Jacksonville's secondary is pretty bad and Green Bay is pretty good. Yeah, I think that's your matchup right here, is Green Bay through the air. Probably your safest bet in that one. Indy and Houston. Indy allows a lot of tight end touchdowns. 4, league worst. Schultz, has he been playing? I'm not sure. Dalton Schultz. You might want to check that. Maybe CJ Stroud is due. Hasn't had one all year. Possibility. Houston's secondary is, again, able to be manipulated. Wow, Houston in the third quarter is pretty bad too. 7 allowed. As for first, it's even. Okay. 4-4, 3-3. Guess you give the advantage to Indy in that way. But Houston's at home. I like Houston there. Okay. Philly and Cincy. Philly first rushing TD. Okay. 2-2. Yeah. Saquon Barkley. I mean, the price isn't going to be fantastic. It's going to actually suck. But maybe you can get something with Barkley. And interesting, again, Cincinnati to the tight end is bad. I think Goddard is still hurt. Check that maybe, but Cincinnati seems vulnerable there. Otherwise, Cincinnati, yeah, there's an option. Cincinnati receivers to Philadelphia receiver defense is probably something I would target. Higgins, again, we've been on Higgins all year. Maybe it's his time again. It's always his time, if you ask me. Buffalo and Seattle should be a good game. High scoring, mediocre defenses against really good offenses. Maybe that's too harsh. Buffalo's defense is pretty good. But on the road, we'll see what happens. I think you could probably close your eyes and pick a name, and they've got a pretty good chance of scoring. So surprising to see with how well Geno's played this year. 11 running back touchdowns. Oh, that's Buffalo. Sorry. 11 for Seattle also. Okay, so for as prolific as these quarterbacks have been, running backs have scored more. Interesting. Yikes. New Orleans and the Chargers. You couldn't pay me to you couldn't give me a free bet to take a bet on this one. I would take no touchdown before I would take touchdown in this. I'm not even going to talk about it, and you shouldn't talk about it either. Chicago, Washington, keep in mind, Jaden Daniels is out, and they have a really good offense when he's in. So I can't tell you what's going to happen this week. The problem is going to be the fact that Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and whoever else they throw to, Rome Oduzze, like they're loaded at the wide receiver position, and Washington's weakness is in the secondary. So maybe you take all 3 of those guys to score in a parlay. Don't do that, but you could. Carolina and Denver, again, a really bad defense and a pretty bad offense. Really good defense and a really bad offense. I don't expect a lot of points in this one, so I probably wouldn't do much for this game. Your safe bet is probably Denver to score first. Maybe Bo Nix first touchdown. Get cute. Why not? Bo Nix first touchdown. I don't know what the price is, but if it's above 16-1, I think I might play it. Kansas City and the Raiders, another game that I think could be very low scoring. I would take Kansas City to score. That's weird. Like this every week, this shocks me. The Raiders have 4 first touchdowns scored, 3 allowed. And Kansas City has 2 scored first, 4 allowed. So on paper, it says take Vegas to score the first touchdown. I'm not going to. So this is where the data, needs a story also. You have to kind of use your best judgment. So yeah, do with that what you will. Okay, Dallas and San Francisco. Dallas's offense is bad somehow. I don't understand it, but they are. San Francisco's defense has been worse in the last few weeks. Yeah. I would say nothing sticks out to me here. Deebo Samuel has a pneumonia. Brandon Ayuk's out for the year. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then our Monday night game. This is Monday night. Yeah, that's Monday night. Ugh. a gross Monday night game. Russell Wilson is though cooking, but this data is going to be weird because it's mostly a Justin Fields led team's data, whereas Russell Wilson, you look at this and you say, "Oh, Russell Wilson touchdown." Well, no, those are Justin Fields touchdowns. So even though the Giants have allowed 3 to quarterbacks, I wouldn't go putting Russell Wilson in. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you look at this. Okay, so again, I said no plays. There are no plays. They're all blank. And I think sometimes it's important to stare into the white abyss and to question everything. I'm kidding. But really, sometimes you just need to take a break. Will I still bet touchdowns? Absolutely. But I don't want to give out anything right now. Just because I just feel like I would be better off and you would be better off just taking a break. Come to your own conclusions. Use that how you will. And, we'll be back to regular scheduled programming soon. I made a video today, very quick, like less than 4-minute video about the NBA opening night, even though technically it was the second night. But how can you have an opening night of 2 games and then you're going to throw 10 games the next night and expect me not to call night 2 opening night when there's 10 games on? Giving out some awards for last night's NBA. And we'll see if that's a trend. I don't know. I don't know. All right. But I'm happy you're here and I'm happy you continue to come back for my frazzled state that it is often, that we are often. So fresh cup of water here. I'm going to down it, but not on camera because I don't want to. We'll see you next time.